Okay, I'm going to read this. This is for your reflection that's due Monday night. My name is Michelle Adams, I'm sorry, and I'm your instructor for this course. And I thought you might want me to read it to you, and if you would prefer to read it yourself and not have me read it, that's fine too. Your option, but I'm just trying to help you out. So here we are. It's a New York Times article, it's an opinion, um, and it's called What Could You Live Without by Nicholas Kristof. It was written January 23rd, 2010. It all began with a stop at a red light. Kevin Sawin, a writer and entrepreneur in Atlanta, was driving his 14-year-old daughter Hannah back from a sleepover in 2006. While waiting at a traffic light, they saw a black Mercedes coupe on one side and a homeless man begging for food on the other. Dad, if that man had a less nice car, that man there could have a meal, Hannah protested. The light changed and they drove on, but Hannah was too young to be reasonable. She pestered her parents about inequity, insisting that she wanted to do something. What do you want to do? Her mom responded. Sell our house? Warning, never suggest a grand gesture to an idealistic teenager. Hannah seized upon the idea of selling the luxurious farm home and donating half the proceeds to charity, while using the other half to buy a more modest replacement home. Eventually, that's what the family did. The project, crazy, impetuous, and utterly inspiring, is chronicled in a book by father and daughter scheduled to be published next month, The Power of Half. It's a book that, frankly, I'd be nervous about leaving around where my own teenage kids might find it. An impressionable child reads this, and the next thing you know, your whole family is out on the street. At a time of enormous needs in Haiti and elsewhere, when so many Americans are trying to help Haitians by sending everything from text messages to shoes, the Sawins offer an example of a family that came together to make a difference for themselves as much as the people they were trying to help. In a column a week ago, I described neurological evidence from brain scans that altruism lights up parts of the brain normally associated with more primal gratifications, such as food and sex. De Sawin's experience confirms the selfish pleasures of selflessness. Mr. Sawin and his wife Joan had always assumed that their kids would be better off in a bigger house. But after they downsized, there was much less space to retreat to, so the family members spent more time around each other. A smaller house unexpectedly turned out to be a more family friendly house. We essentially traded stuff for togetherness and connectedness, Mr. Sawin told me, adding, I can't figure out why everybody wouldn't want that deal. One reason for that togetherness was the complex process of deciding how to spend the money. De Sawin's research causes and charities, finally settling on the Hunger Project, a New York City-based international development organization that has a good record for tackling global poverty. The Sawins pledged $800,000 to sponsor health, microfinancing, food, and other programs for about 40 villages in Ghana. They traveled to Ghana with a Hunger Project executive, John Coonrod, who is an inspiration in his own right. Over the years, he and his wife donated so much back from their modest aid worker salaries that they were among the top Hunger Project donors in New York. The Sawins initiative hasn't gone entirely smoothly. Hannah promptly won over her parents, but her younger brother Joe was, reassuringly, a red-blooded American boy to whom It wasn't intuitively obvious that life would improve by moving into a smaller house and giving money to poor people. Outvoted and outmaneuvered, Joe gamely went along. Disawans are also troubled that some people are reacting negatively to their project, seeing them as sanctimonious show-offs, or that people are protesting giving to Ghana when there are so many needy Americans. Still, they have inspired some converts. The people who sold Disawans their new home were so impressed that they committed $100,000 to the project. And one of Hannah's closest friends, Blaze, pledged half her babysitting savings to an environmental charity. In writing the book, Disawans say, the aim wasn't actually to get people to sell their houses. They realized that few people are quite that nutty. Rather, the aim was to encourage people to step off the treadmill of accumulation, to define themselves by what they give as well as by what they possess. No one expects anyone to sell a house, said Hannah. Now, a high school junior who hopes to become a nurse. Oh, I'm sorry. No one expects to sell a house, said Hannah, now a high school junior who hopes to become a nurse. That's kind of a ridiculous thing to do. For us, the house was just something we could live without. It was too big for us. Everyone has too much of something, whether it's time, talent, or treasure. Everyone does have their own half. You just have to find it. As for Kevin Sawin, he's delighted by what has unfolded since that encounter at the red light. This is the most self-interested thing we have ever done, he said. I'm thrilled that we can help others. I'm blown away by how much it helps us. I invite you to comment on this column on my blog, On the Ground. Please also join me on Facebook, watch my iTunes videos, and follow me on Twitter. Okay? So there's the story. You can find the link in your module under Writing and Reflection. You just click on it and it will open to that page. Thank you guys and good luck with your reflection.